Do you still believe in the dreams that you had set for your life?
Yeah, they've just changed a bit or a lot along the way.
All right, cool. Mine did too. And maybe that's just the thing about dreams. They're supposed to grow with us.
But life gets busy, we get comfortable, we put ourselves last over and over again.
Then how do we appreciate the life we have while we just keep dreaming bigger and bigger and bigger?
Maybe it starts by deciding the dream is still worth making time for.
Hey, welcome back to A Line Anyway. I'm Josh.
And I'm Tiffany.
Tonight, we're going to be talking about making some shit happen. And tonight's going to be Tiffany in the hot seat. Tiffany, buckle up. It is your night to shine, my dear. Should we just
Yay,
get
I
in? I think we
think.
just get in. Yeah. All right. So tonight, everybody, we're going to be talking about dreaming. And my thought around tonight was dreaming is something that we have a construct for, something that we're constantly looking and reaching for the stars to. Some of us aren't feeling like they actually can get there. Tonight, we're going to talk about all angles of that. Tiffany, do you ever feel like you struggle to be successful just because you're focusing on what you haven't accomplished yet?
Oh, 100%. I think that a lot of the times what holds me back is my inability to be able to receive what is already coming to me, right? I've already put the work in and I'm not necessarily receiving it. And I think the reason being is because I'm so focused on what I don't have. I never understand and appreciate what I have right now. And in this moment, I'm thinking about what I don't have or what someone else has at my age that I should have at this age. And a lot of it I realize is attached to age, feeling like I should hit a certain level by a certain age or achieve a certain thing by a certain age, including, parenthood and having children and but I'm at this age where I have friends who don't have any kids. I have friends who have young babies who are just all of my friends right now are just having their children. And then I have friends who have 18-year-olds and it's like we're all through there. And I think sometimes when you add in that age factor, that is what has us feeling like either a dream isn't enough or it's too big, it's unachievable. And by me constantly thinking about what I don't have, I mean, it's a no wonder things don't happen because that fear of failure creeps in. And I feel like, well, I don't know, is it going to get me to this anyway? No, it's not. So I'm just not going to do it. And then we stay in this fixed mindset.
Do you feel like dreams are playing the lottery? Maybe dreams are like tickets. Maybe if we don't actually have them, we can't win the lottery. If you don't have a
Ooh.
dream, how are you going to win it?
That's fair. I went for a long time not playing the lottery too, and I still don't. Don does. And I'm like, we dream when we do, like, oh, what would you do with the money? And, we were even talking about like, okay, how would we split it between siblings and family and things like that. And those are all good, positive things to think about because I really want to know how would you do that? Are we on the same page? These are good conversations to have. But
Yeah.
I'm also like, what are the odds of us winning the lottery? Right. And that's why I don't play. And it's like, you got to play to win. Right. You can't expect to win if you don't play. I'm not saying go out and gamble away your life or whatever, but I'm saying leave the opportunity for you to be able to receive. And if you don't play, you won't win, you won't receive.
I think
I
about
hate
that on
that.
a daily basis. Yeah, all the time. I feel like that on a daily basis with my actual goals, though. Every day I wake up going, I'm going to lose weight today. I'm going to not eat like shit. And then lunchtime comes around and my team's like, hey guys, we're doing Subway today. And I'm like, oh, why? Oh, it's
Wait, no,
buy one,
no.
get one free.
What about Jared? Subway, Jared, Subway. Lost weight,
Oh, I
that's
don't
fine.
associate that shit. Subway did not hire
Listen.
him because he was a pedophile. They hired him because he was their spokesperson. People do bad shit. It doesn't mean the company's bad for doing it.
No. I'm talking about you can lose weight on Subway. I'm talking about him losing
Oh.
weight. That's what I'm talking about. I
I thought you were
wasn't
talking
going in. I wasn't going in that deep. And then I remembered and I was like, oh shit, that's not what I meant. But what I'm saying is like what I've done is because I'm trying to cut carbs, right? So you can go to Subway and you can get a turkey and cheese sandwich, whatever, and get a lettuce wrap instead. So you don't have to, and this is what my nutritionist told me, like you do not have to limit yourself because it feels like a punishment. So that dream, you're making it harder to achieve because you're adding in like unnecessary blocks. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Just like similar to what I said, the unnecessary block was the question that you asked. Like if I'm thinking about something else or if I'm thinking about what I don't have, that's a block that blocks me from my dream. You're thinking, hey, I say I want to do these things and I want to lose weight, and yet I succumb to the team going to Subway. Your block is your thought process around it. It's not really a mess up if you order correctly.
I guess I'm confusing goals and dreams. When
Okay.
I'm saying, like, I wake up in the morning and I'm hoping, like, I am gonna lose this weight, my dream is to be some model on the beach in a six-pack ab or more. My goal is just to eat healthier today. So, I guess I need to differentiate the 2 because if I give up on that goal, it doesn't mean that I failed my dream. It means that I didn't accomplish today's goal. It doesn't mean I can't accomplish tomorrow's goal or even the next meal's goal. Just because I maybe messed up on lunch doesn't mean I have to mess up on dinner. So,
Yeah.
I think that we just need a mindset shift.
It's funny, I chat, and so, like, I use chat, I send it pictures of what I've eaten and stuff. If I've not eaten something that's aligned with the diet that we come up with, it's like, "Okay, it's just a bad it's not necessarily a bad meal, we can make it up here, we can make it up here." And so that's why that was immediately, like, in my head to, like, get you to not be, like, down on yourself about oh
You know,
gosh.
it's all
Therapy
good
chat,
because
AI,
that's
what is the
right.
world coming to? Oh my
Mm.
gosh.
So many things. I would say that we have a lot of things as far as dreams, right? They're like a shopping cart since we keep talking about like tickets and getting things from them and playing to win. Like we have all of these buckets of things we have to accomplish. How do we prioritize them all? Especially in a place of hectic space. How do we take the dreams, the bucket of them, and make each one of them happen one at a time? How do you do it?
I mean, I don't, if I'm being honest. I try to, I come up with lists and I create like routines in order to build habits, right? And so I do it very, this about me, I'm very type A. The calendar is going to be color coded. I'm going to make it cute and decorative and make it into like an art project. And while I'm doing it, it's actually pretty therapeutic. But am I always consistent with that? No. And that's why I said no. But like I have a process, right? There's always a process. It's just like the matter of being consistent with the process. It's just like in leadership, in order to be able to get to your end goal, use the information that you have now analyzed, you have to have a process around observing and then executing. And where I tend to fall short sometimes is consistently executing. So, like you said, I could do great with my diets and to chat and everything like that. And then my friends say, "Do you want to go grab drinks?" And I'm like, I'm already drinking this red wine right here. And so I might as well have some mozzarella sticks. Like, let's make it a party.
It sabotages every part of my mindset. It's my own shit. I go into every day going, you know what? One day I'm going to get promoted. And then something will happen in my life and I'm going, I'm not worthy. I can't do this. And then the next day something's going well and I'm like, oh my God, this is great. I had the power. I can oh shit, something else happened. Oh fuck. And now I can't do it again. I'm constantly on this up and down scale of believing in what I can do and shooting for the stars and getting to that next stair step that we talked about last episode. And then one minute I'm climbing back down the stairs and I'm like, you know what? Gravity's actually a lot better on the ground. I'm kind of scared of heights. So I
Mm.
want to step back down these stairs, even though I know that like maybe there's this gold, shiny pot of gold up there that I can get to, but I got to climb real fucking high. I feel like that a lot.
It's because our bodies just feel more comfortable where we're comfortable. You know what I mean? Like nobody wants to be uncomfortable. And so it's a lot easier to continue doing what you're doing and you're good at it. And it's like, okay, the fear of the unknown, because the unknown, we don't know what it is. So it's uncomfortable. It could be too cold. Maybe I might get frostbite up there. My ass don't like to be cold. If it's too cold, I'm not going outside. Like there'll be a whole party and I'll be like, y'all tripping. Bye. I'm not doing it. And so that's the thing where we as humans are just obsessed with being comfortable all the time, right? Like I think about it all the time. I talk about like Gen Z and the difference with that generation and how there's no social equity. I try to teach any young person like, hey, social equity, like why building relationships is important, regardless of just work. But in general, it's good to have a relationship with the people in your neighborhood and the people that you do business with and things like that. And this generation just doesn't know that. And you can tell now in the workplace, like it's just not something that is valued. And I think that the fact that we want to remain comfortable holds us back. And to be honest, this is about to get deeper, but that's what society wants. Because when you have people who are willing to just fall in line, work that 9 to 5, you have people who are now able to fuel your business so that you can do what you want to do. And as long as you have people that are continuously able to like be on that hamster wheel, you're good. But here's the thing, how do you stop it? And I think we're at a point where with technology, AI, you have some people who are thinking of it in a fearful way. And then you have others who are like, okay, how do I utilize this to capitalize right now? How do I utilize this to bring forth my creativity? How do I utilize this to, you know, expedite time? How do I use this to learn more? And it that really depends on growth mindset versus a fixed mindset. And so I think when it comes to how do you not give up on your dream? How do you go towards it? Other than just like, what I said, I make my lists and my routines and I try to create a habit. And I know all these things, right? I could make all the lists until I'm blue in the face. Who the hell is going to make me follow number one, number two, number three, number four? Nobody is going to
or
make me
more.
do shit, right? It's me.
Right.
And so I have to be that person who is on my own ass to be like, hey, let's think outside the box. Let's do something different. Let's post this video. Let's be real. Let's be vulnerable. Let's talk to people about our feelings even though we could just write them in our journal. But no, let's go ahead and start a podcast, right? Dreams need a mindset that says, fuck it. Let's see what happens. And that's the best thing that can happen to a dream is the person who's like, fuck this shit. Let me work off my impulses. Let me see where this gets me. Let me be smart. I'm not saying go spend your life savings into and dump it into something that you're not going to stay consistent with. Be smart. But I do think that risks are necessary. In order to be a dreamer, you have to also be a risk taker.
If you don't take the risk, you're not going to be able to achieve the dream. But no one's going to make you take the risk and no one's going to make you even think of the risk. And honestly, a lot of that comes from fear. I think about all the risks I don't take because of the fear that blocks my shit. And sometimes I push myself through that and I'm so proud. And then sometimes I'm like, oh, fuck, I wish I wouldn't have done that. You have to do that shit to learn.
Hmm.
Once you
And
learn, you can grow.
right. Once you learn, you can grow because you're going to grow from the failure or you're going to grow from the win. And a lot of people, you grow the most from experience and failing and sucking. When I first became a leader, I was 26 and majority of my employees were older than me. And I very much wanted to be liked. It was very important for me to be liked. And I always say there's a leadership pendulum. You want to be liked or you're just a hard ass and you got a power trip, right? And you kind of like I was over here, I was over here, I was over here. It was so much. And then when I got to a place where I was more comfortable with myself and my own leadership, that's when I started to balance, right? And you can have that pendulum. It's okay to have a little bit of reality. Something that you said earlier struck me where you were like, "Nope, I just want to stay where I know it's real and where it's that happy reality, right?" That's good. We need people like that. How do you kind of keep yourself grounded? Like you had this dream, I want to write a book. And then you went forth and you did it and you put these things into place and then you remain consistent and you set your boundaries, in your relationship and things like that to make sure that you can follow through with your dreams. Like what's your process around that?
I try to find things that keep me constant. My life is scattered. From the outside in, it looks very organized. The other day, I was cleaning my house. I was alone. I was just like, you know what? I'm going to get some shit done. I was dusting. And then I realized, oh shit, I had laundry on the table. I got to put that up. So I stopped dusting and I put my stuff upstairs. And then I went back downstairs, grabbed the duster. I was like, oh shit, I got to wipe the counter. This looks like shit. I wiped the counter, all realizing there was stuff to do. And that happened about 8 more times. By the end of it, everything was done, every single thing. But my brain cannot focus on the one aspect of cleaning because I know there's so many other things to do. But I know that if I get my hand on it now, I'll remember those 17 other things to do, even though I know right now I need to go back and do them, if that makes any sense whatsoever.
No, it does because it happens to me too. You know this. Honestly, I find that when I'm on the phone and I have my earphones in, and I'm talking to someone, I tend to be able to focus a little bit better on my task. Like I can if I can do laundry and be on the phone, I can clean the kitchen and clean the kitchen because I'm on the phone, so I'll stay there. But if I'm not on the phone and just music is playing or something, like I'll start doing the laundry, I'll leave the laundry half done, go and then I'll start washing the dishes. I'll leave the dishwasher open while I'm putting dishes in there. I'll stop, I'll go sweep the floor because I noticed Val's hair was on the floor. Then I'll be like, okay, but I can't sweep the whole floor because then I have to mop the floor, but I have to finish the kitchen. So then I'll put that back and then I'm like, all right, let me go finish the kitchen. Then I'll do that. And then I'll stop that and I'll be like,
Right.
oh, I'm kind of tired. I want to watch this show. And then I'll be like, oh, wait, I need to text Don something. And it's something like that I know he's not going to be able to figure what I'm talking about out right now because he's at work. So it's like, but I needed to get it out right now because if I didn't, I would forget later. So I need to get it out right now. And then I remember because I'll go through back through text messages and be like, oh no, I did say this. I see it right here. Cause it's like a way for me to keep notes. And poor Don, that's a lot to try to keep track of. But like, fuck.
That's the part of me that realizes that I had the organizational skills, but it's a fucking mess. I need those constant things in my life, like the book, like this podcast. I need those things in my life to keep me centered. And believe it or not, like video gaming keeps me centered too. Like it keeps me focused, it keeps me excited, it keeps me in a space that's like creative and in a world that you can be in that you don't have to pay anything really additional for. Well, there's games, the internet, you know. But anywho,
My
it's a
game is
much more
expensive as
cost
hell.
effective. It is. I can't act like it's free. But ultimately, I like to put myself in spaces that keep me feeling safe and excited. And even when I feel like I'm getting away from it, I can always get myself back to a place of excitement if I'm doing it out of a place of want, not need. I don't need this book. I don't need this podcast, but I'm doing this because it puts time where I need to put time. It makes me prioritize things that I need to prioritize, and it allows me to keep structured in a way that I know I need. And that allows me to make beauty out of the chaos.
Think too that dreams don't necessarily have to be attached to money. I think a lot of the times we as humans attach everything to a dollar. Like, you're a beautiful artist. Oh my gosh, I love your art. It's so amazing. Like, how much do you charge for this? Are you selling it? And it's like, oh no, I just do it because it calms me down. Like, it's my therapy. And I think that the moment we try to do something for the numbers or for money, that's when the joy is taken out of it. And it no longer is a dream. And now it's a chore, or now it's a reminder of a failed attempt because we were so focused on the numbers that we weren't having a good time anymore. And I think you and I have talked about this. And just to be honest, as it relates to the podcast, like, oh, how many people are listening? We want to make sure that we get our followers up and things like that. And when we talk about that, it can become this like, oh, I didn't want it to be that. I would love for it to be that because I have dreams and ambitions and things like that, of course. But I really want to just come on here and like enjoy this time with you. But also, I really do want to hear other people and connect from other people. This is why we created this and why I created Connected Conversations. And then I created Connected Conversations Supper Club so that way I could connect with, other women in Raleigh who are wanting deeper connections and real, genuine friendships. So I'm all about that. And that's what I wanted this podcast to be. And it's aligned anyway. So that way we can all come together with different viewpoints and different opinions and show how we can still be aligned anyway. Because you and I have maybe a different viewpoint on dreams and how we go about things. But I still think the way that you go about it is beautiful. And I want to hear from our
Well,
audience
thank
for
you.
that too.
How do you guys prioritize your dreams? When do you give up on them? At what point have you thought this is reaching too far? Or is it only too far because you're not willing to go as far as you need to go to get there? That's a great call out.
I always dreamed of being an author, like always, ever since I was like 8. My grandfather, my pop-up was an author. And I had wrote like a little in my about me in the book. It was about what inspired me to write. And he wrote poetry and he had this song, and I won't repeat it because I can't sing to save my life, but I'll say the words. It's I never believed in love at first sight. I never believed in love. No, I didn't quite. And it was about my grandmother. And so I remember the song and I sing it in my head. I know the beat. My whole family, we all know, like me and my siblings, we all know the song because my mom sings it. And so I just love how poetry makes you feel and how songs like that make you feel. And they make you remember a moment. And so my dream was just to make other people feel the way that I felt when I first heard my pop-up song. And I achieved that. And I had given up on it. I didn't think that author was like a legitimate title for, a bank manager. I was like, this is what I do. This is what I always do. That's so just different than my very logical day job versus my very creative, think outside the box, vulnerable, not alter ego because that's who I am, but like really going back to that dream and accomplishing it made me feel like I was stepping more into who I am and being more comfortable with who I was reintroduced to.
What about the dream that you gave up on that you are trying to bring back?
Writing another book and also podcasting. We started connected conversations and I gave up on it. I was like, I don't have time. It's not going to be anything. This is probably stupid. A lot of negative self talk and who's going to want to listen to me, that kind of thing. And brought that back and I'm fighting through the negative self-talk daily and I get to have fun with you and we've also met some really cool people, had some great conversations. Like I love the conversation we got to have with Mama Stacy and, some of the other people that we've had on that just shared their experiences. And what if I gave up on it? We would have had that. And we did touch some people too. That was really cool. Hearing about some of the guests that we had on that you guys will meet. They listened to the podcast and that's how they became guests because they were interested in what we had to say. Random strangers, people that we didn't know wanted to come be guests and that felt good. And so I'm really glad that I came back to it and I'm gonna keep trucking at it. What about you?
I love that you just said both of those things because mine are completely opposite. The dream that I am most proud of is the podcast because I never thought I would be able to do it. And it was one of those things that like I thought was the Japan. I was going to be the Japan racer. To me, that was that far of a reach. Seriously, like I didn't think a podcast was something I could even do. And then I did it and I was like, oh, that's fucking amazing. And then the one thing that I wanted to bring back was writing because I mentioned in a prior episode that I was a poet in my own little private space. Nothing that I thought was like something that was worth admitting because I always felt like ashamed of it. You always think that when you tell somebody I'm a poet, they're like, oh okay. Yeah, cool. Or, oh, what do you write? Like, can I see it? And then you show them and they have no reaction, even though they don't understand the emotion you put
Because they
into
don't.
that few lines on that paper.
And not everybody is a poet. You gotta be a certain type of soul to be
You
able to
do.
understand
You
and
do.
connect to it too,
You
is
do.
what I'm
So
learning.
when I realized I couldn't find the connection with my circle and relate to it there, it just kind of slowly died, quite literally. And then to be honest, you kind of brought back the author in me. I was like, oh shit, like my friend that was never an author was kind of like, now I want to be an author. And I'm like, oh shit, like I can do that. But it's kind of funny because I was that person for the podcast for you, and you're the
Oh,
person
that's
for the
so
author side.
cute. See?
So it's literally
Kismet.
like
It
the
was
the
meant to
polar
be.
opposite. You know what I mean? So I just thought that was really cool because
And we
I
didn't
just
plan that,
think that
guys.
no, it just and you didn't even know I was a poet until like a couple episodes ago. Or at least I
Uh-huh.
used to write poetry. I wouldn't call myself a poet by any means, but yeah, I definitely think that if I had let myself not live that dream of podcasting, I definitely wouldn't be here having these conversations with you because we wouldn't be doing this together. Because who would be
Mhm.
thinking about starting a podcast if one of us hadn't had the courage to try it?
I know,
Which is allowing
exactly.
me to achieve my dream in the book. But then there's also those, those excuses that I think we make when we can't achieve dreams, but really we're already achieving the dream we had set in the prior version of us, and now we've taken it for granted. And I think when
Mm,
we start getting greedy with our podcast and we start looking at the numbers, I think we start taking it for granted
yeah.
because this creation was the dream. The
Right.
conversation was the dream. And now we're looking at this going, okay, but what else? And that's the gluttony in us. That's
Oh,
the
yes.
human in us. That's like, ooh, you got the dream, but there's more. It's like a fucking
Mhm.
life
But
infomercial.
we shifted it though, right? To not what else, but who else? Who can we affect? Who can we hear from? Who can share their story? Who can get something from listening to this or relate? That feeling that you get, the goosebumps, the damn, I needed to hear this. We posted something the other day and someone said, wow, I really needed to hear this. And just that is enough for me to say, wow, that's the goal. That's what I wanted to be able to do for people. And I love that I was able to inspire you as you inspired me. So that was just like funny. But you know what? We do meet people for a reason and the universe brings us together for a reason. So maybe that was the reason. It's like, okay, we need a little push here, we need a little push there. And let's make that happen. And that's why, think about it. That's how people grow through the relationships and friends that they meet, through the colleagues that they meet. I didn't just become the leader that I am today. I had several leaders before me who poured into me and some
Yeah.
who showed me what not to do. And I learned a lot from that too. And I read books and I talk to my friends, I talk to other leaders. So a lot of what I do and who I am is just a culmination of all the people that I have met and the connected conversations that I have had over the years. And that is how we grow. And it's funny because it all boils back into why Connected Conversations was created in the first place. And then that birthed Aligned anyway. And so it's just all aligned. Y'all see how that all came together?
And I think one thing I want to note too is that people keep telling us when they're listening, well, you guys don't disagree a whole lot. Yeah, I thought the whole message was that, you have different perspectives and that you got to like kind of find time to disagree. And for me, I never thought this was that. I always thought that we do have those different perspectives and we were able to share the back and forth and talk through the back and forth. But I don't think the back and forth needed to be hostile or needed to be a disagreement necessarily. I think we can just have a different perspective. And I think people want that drama. They want and need that type of camaraderie. And we're just not going to give that to you here. And I just want to make that clear that if that's what you're expecting out of this podcast, you're going to be a little bit upset.
Yeah, aligned anyway for me is always showing just that alignment piece and how we come together regardless. Like we just have different perspectives because, I'm a straight black female and you are a gay white male. So our lives are different. However, we're in the same role. We're both married. So our lives are also very similar. But that's the point. We look different, but we still have similar lives, similar traumas that we've dealt with, similar things with friends. So the point is to show people how different we are not. We are just aligned and sometimes we're parallel, but we are not different. And
And I think we all have that.
yeah, I agree. And that's why I said that's not just with us, that's with everyone, That's a lot of the times when I'm doing team building, if I'm noticing there's a little rift with the team, what I have done is like this personality test and to kind of see whose personalities are similar. And a lot of times the personalities that are similar are my two team members that are button heads the most.
I think
And
that's
I
cool.
can think about like I butt heads the most with my mom because I'm the most similar to her. And that is where that comes from. So we're not different really at all. We just aren't aligned and we're not having vulnerable conversations that we need to have in order to be able to ascend those differences to become aligned. And we're at a place where we have ascended and we can do that. So, boom.
Boom, Betty boom, boom, boom. We talked about a lot today. We
We
talked
did.
about dreams. We've talked about the guilt we have if we don't achieve them. We've talked about the self-worth we put behind the achievement or non-achievement. We've talked about taking them for granted once we do achieve a little bit of our dreams and then elevating it when we don't think we have just quite achieved enough. But maybe your dream hasn't really happened
It
yet.
doesn't mean it isn't happening.
Every choice, every risk, every time you keep going when it would just be easier not to.
It's to
So make the plan.
make room for yourself in said.
Keep dreaming bigger. It is okay to do so.
Just remember to always be proud of the person building it.
Because maybe success isn't just finally getting there.
Maybe it's realizing you're already on your way.
Ladies, gentlemen, everyone else in between, we'll see you next week on Align Anyway.